Hey everybody, it's Nick and it's Jay, and this is the first ever Lemons recap that we filmed in front of a live studio audience. Yeah, so we're just back from Thunderhill and the 5-mile Tyre Festival, named after the Fyre Festival. Yeah, and if you guys don't know what the Fyre Festival is, there's been a lot of talk about it lately. There's a Netflix special. Basically, it's this concert festival in the Bahamas. It was organized by a bunch of friggin' morons that tried to make this completely complicated event, and they had no idea what they were doing. Yeah, and because we don't really know what we're doing, good news is we hired a new chief of operations to sort it all out.
So they have the yellow flag, they wait 2 minutes, and you raise the green flag, and then they clash, and then you have to throw another red flag again.
Got it. Unusually for Thunderhill, there was a little bit of rain, which, as we know in Lemons, that means that all-wheel drive is gonna dominate. And we had the return of series sponsor Yokohama and their Nitro Circus guys. This time it was Bilko and Haley. They came in. I just gotta say, like, they're trying to outdo Pastrana, right? Yeah. Well, it was a real low bar, because when Pastrana was at the last Lemons race in Houston, they did not do so well. They wiped people out. They were having all kinds of problems. Well, these guys kicked ass. And I gotta say, to give them credit, Yokohama, they didn't bug us. They didn't insist on anything. They just brought guys who knew what they were doing. They ran the race. They fixed their own car when it broke. And they wear potato suits, so it's pretty spectacular. Speaking of celebrities, David Vanagon drove in his very first Lemons race. Yeah, now if you don't remember who David Vanagon is, he's the guy who runs Thunderhill, and he has something of a reputation, deservedly so, for talking incessantly on the PA. Now, we thought because he was actually going to be in a race car, hallelujah, he can't be on the PA. We were wrong.
Please do note, this is important. So, we have 25th anniversary material down at the pro shop down at the Woodstock.
Spank was back in one of his many Lemons Hyundai accents. Now, Spank, he drives a lot of his Lemons cars on the street, of course. Who doesn't? And he's driving on I-5 down there in San Diego in traffic, and he totally gets rear-ended. And he gets out, and not only is the damage not that bad and is not going to affect his race, but he's got full coverage on this thing. He submits it to the insurance, and they gave him a check for $1,800. $500 my ass. Speaking of $500 my ass, we had our very first Lemons Toyota Yaris, which was campaigned by Ian Korf, who is the author of the new bestseller, You Suck at Racing. Available now on Amazon. And we used this fine publication as a guide and manual for penalty enforcement.
Don't drive beyond your limit. It's easy to tell someone not to drive beyond their limit. In fact, you have told me that many times. But lots of novices don't even know their limit.
Now, one time in the past, we got in trouble because one of our teams showed up with a giant dildo on top of a car. Yep. Hey, we didn't do it, but, whatever, don't do that. This team, Space Rex, they made a dimensionally accurate, perfect, full-scale replica of a SpaceX rocket, and they drove that around in their car, and to me, totally fine. Team Crematorium was there with their stock 90s teal Chevy Cavalier. We need more of that in road racing. Yeah, we do. And what we also need is great T names like the Dae-Wu-Tang Clan.
Up from the 36 chambers, it's the ghost.
You know what's but terrible? Is when just starting your engine causes the fire department to show up. I don't know if this is but terrible or hell sweet, but we've got the following in-car from the Bernal Dad.
seasoned Lemons gun. I should know better.
NFG Racing, first-time team, a bunch of young kids showed up with a Fiero, and they immediately failed tech. Now, remember, kids, read the website and the rules, and this won't happen to you.
Yeah, now the good news is there was another team there. The Hembreys were there with multiple cars for rent. They walked over, they got a nice Volvo wagon, and they raced the whole weekend.
We had a couple of teams come back to Lemons that we hadn't seen in a while. There was Scuderia Asino in their totally awesome Plymouth Scamp car trucks, got a neon swap. Thing's incredible.
Yeah, and we had the Italian Stallions. They finally decided to come back with their Fiat X19. I don't know what took them so long, but they decided that Fiat motor, it's too unreliable. We're going to solve this problem with a 300-year-old Wankel out of a Mazda RX-7.
Yeah.
You know how that worked out? Not so good. Burst into flame on Friday, testing the car, got that put back together, blew up their muffler on Saturday, testing the car, got that put back together, then the motor caught on fire.
Let's take a second to talk about the Chotus.
Chotus.
Now, as you guys know, this is a 70s Lotus Elite with a swap small block Chevy. It's fast. People are, how are you allowing that to race? But it is incredibly fragile. They have blown up the motor. They've driven the wheels off of the thing.
Like literally driven them. That is not an expression.
All of the comedy expressions you hear about cars have actually happened to the Chotus.
Yeah.
So, as is often the case, on Saturday, they were quick out of the gate. They were leading Class C at the beginning, and we have this internal joke where we send text messages to all of the Lemon staff across the country like, well, Chotus leading Class C, like, shut her down now, better just award them the trophy. Nothing's gonna happen between now and the end of the race.
And the amazing thing was, they were still leading Class C at the end of the race. So here's the thing, it's taken them 10 races, 20 races to make this 40 Lotus Elite actually hold together, but they did it. How come Lotus could never do it?
Judge's choice went to the Nacho Friend Toyota Celica. This is a long time coming, really. These guys have been around for a while. They tend to get a lot of black flags, and so they're hanging around the penalty box a lot.
We're very familiar with them.
When they show up, they bring these pulled pork nachos every time. And, you know, at some point they're going to get a trophy, and finally they did.
Yep. The I Got Screwed trophy went to Jim Bauman of Vermont Burt 1.
Yeah.
Now, he was spending all of his time not working on his race car, but manning the charity booth. The problem was, when it was time for Jim to finally take his session at the end of the first race day, he got there and realized nobody had been working on the car at all. It never turned a lap, it didn't start, it didn't run. He never got to race.
The heroic fix went to Silicon Junkyard Racing. These guys have really pulled an interesting trick in that they figured out a way to make a Mazda Miata be a total piece of crap that doesn't run at all. And how they accomplished that was they swapped the entire chassis of a first-gen Miata underneath a 70s Datsun 1600 Roadster. And something in that translation made the Miata just run like shit.
The Datsun crappiness just pervaded the good Miata mechanicals.
I don't know what happened. So this is not the first time these guys have had issues with this car. This time they blew up the Miata cylinder head. John Pagel was there. John Pagel has a lot of connections to the spec Miata world. And he says, you know, I got a bunch of Miata cylinder heads just like sitting in my backyard down there in Sacramento. Like, here's the address. Go get one. And these guys did. And they swapped it out and got back on track. It was incredibly heroic.
And at one point, John Pagel's wife, I am told, leaned out the kitchen window and said, "Who the hell are you people?" But they talked their way out of it. Special award went to these guys named...
the team name is Team Run What You Brung, comma, until you get caught, comma, cause, comma, you know damn well you've been cheating.
That is the name of the team. They got the special award for two reasons. One, they had a spectacular dummy hanging out of their car all the way through. We were constantly getting calls from the tower like, tell that guy he can't... Oh, never mind, it's those guys. Click. Second reason is they briefly entertained this idea when it started raining on Sunday and the car was broken, like, all right, we're done. They decided, no, we are not done. We are taking our Audi 4000 in the rain because, you know, all-wheel drive domination. They got the car fixed, they went out, and they took the checkered flag.
The Life of the Paddock Party Award went to our friend James Eichel, now racing with the Gem Besties, although I think this might be his old caffeine unlimited BMW E30.
I believe it is.
That's not why he won this award. As you know, we've got this series of Saturday night pit parties that we're trying to do at every race. James is a marketing rep for Bogle Winery, and that just meant that he brought like 10 magnums of red Bogle
Yeah.
wine, which
Yeah.
the Lemons guys on Saturday night went through all of them. Yeah. And right at the end of the night, when it looked like, ooh, I don't know, we're kind of running out of food, James shows up with a giant steaming plate of curry chicken, and it was amazing. He got the award.
Organizer's choice went to the Citroën Commandos. This is one of 3 different really, really well-built Volkswagen Vanagons.
Yeah.
Now, these guys, they take them Lemons racing, they take these things Baja racing, they do everything with these big Vanagons, and the amazing thing is they're super fast, they drive them really well, and they're really reliable. So, you gotta give it to these guys. The Citroën Commandos finished way, way, way up in the standings on this thing in a Vanagon that was way faster than Corvettes, Porsches, and BMWs. Well done.
To be fair, fast and reliable is really the Vanagon calling card.
That's true, actually.
Index of Effluency, very well deserved, kind of a lifetime achievement award. This is, of course, is the Black Flags. They've got a Toyota Celica. It's a Mad Max theme, and normally a Mad Max, if you're gonna do that, you like, all right,
Take
we've
stuff off the
got
car,
a regular
you-
car, you hit it with a hammer, bolt random stuff on.
Right.
This car has just kind of naturally
Yeah.
become that way over several years of Lemons racing, and finally it just kind of held together. And they finished the race top half.
No, they were like in the top. I think they were 17th overall.
Great. Googly,
And they had Dave
googly.
Montoya driving their car, and they still were, I think, 17th overall.
If they didn't have Dave Montoya, they would have freaking won.
All right.
Here's Lemons in a nutshell.